Here are 3 signs that God is working in you, and you may or may not realize it. Number 1, you have in the past, and maybe even now are currently, facing setbacks, struggles, or failure. Struggling, failing, isn't necessarily a bad thing. Although, yeah, it's uncomfortable as heck in the moment, it's morphing you into the person that God has called you to be. Think about it. You're past sinning. All that guilt, shameful kind of feelings that have built up every time you sinned only brought you closer to God now. Being tired of having the world on your shoulders, feeling like you have to be in control of everything and it's just tiring, all of that has led you to finding God now. All of your struggles and failures are testimonies. Sometimes God will intentionally put you in storms, like what Jesus did with his disciples. Mark chapter 4, verse 35 to 41, Jesus said to his disciples, "Let's go over to the other side," while knowing that there is a storm to come. Jesus is sleeping, and the disciples are freaking out. They're like, "Yo, there's a storm. Why are you sleeping?" And Jesus ends up rebuking the wind and calms the waves and said, "Why do you have so little faith? I'm here with you. I know there's a storm. I put us here on purpose. No matter how big the storm, how big the struggle, God is always with you. And he'll never put you in a place that he never intended you to be in." Sign number 2 that God is working in you is when you feel lost or uncertain of what's to come, when you're required to be patient. Believe it or not, this place of uncertainty is probably the best place you can be in, because now all you can turn to is God or to your old ways. This is when you actually get to let God take over. God is the one who knows your future. He knows which direction is best for you. Psalms chapter 46 verse 10. Be still and know that I am God. And the 3rd sign that God is working in you, that you may or may not realize, it's when your interests and your heart begin to change. When we're building our relationship with God, we're getting closer with him, God works on a character. He's always guiding and directing our heart to be aligned with his will. When your desires start to change, when your interests change, what seemed to satisfy you before that was bringing you away from God, now you find no meaning to it. You find no purpose. It just doesn't feel the same anymore. Certain habits, people you are interacting with, or just anything else. All of that is God morphing your heart. When you don't want to be around sinful environments anymore, you find that it's constantly draining you. Also, with your heart changing, you start to become more aware of everything that's around you. You're more aware of how you speak to others. You try to focus on being kind. Even though sometimes, yeah, you may slip up. You may find yourself judging others. You're aware of that. And you're saying, no, this isn't what God would want for me. Find yourself more empathetic. You start understanding people more rather than judging them. All of that and many more is God working in you. Everything that involves you and the next step to whatever he has planned for you. These are just 3 out of many other signs that God is working in you. But I want to place an emphasis on the whole signs thing. Don't try to look for signs all the time. God calls us to walk by faith, not by sight. So just because you don't see it doesn't mean that God isn't working. God is always working, and he will never leave you or forsake you.